Here's something nobody tells you about selling your e-commerce business. 70 to 80% of brands that go to market never sell at all. And the ones that do, most take 8 to 12 months to exit, not the 3 to 5 months you're probably hoping for. I'm gonna show you the raw numbers behind e-commerce exits, not the guru fancy version, the actual data from thousands of deals that closed and the hundreds of millions of dollars that evaporated when founders got this wrong. Because between 2020 and 2024, we just witnessed one of the most dramatic boom-bust cycles in business history. And if you're building a brand right now, what happened contains every lesson you need to know about exits. Quick background on me, I'm Jamal. I built and exited 2 e-commerce brands. I used to be a high school maths teacher. Before that, I worked in analytics and investment management at BlackRock and Lehman and Deutsche Brothers. And I now operate a multi-7-figure e-commerce business. And I also coach and mentor hundreds of 7- and 8-figure e-commerce entrepreneurs through my program, Digital Brand Builders. But here's why I'm qualified to talk about this. I also went through a failed exit process myself, spent months in due diligence, deal fell apart because of buyer financing issues. It was brutal, but that experience forced me to learn everything about business valuations, what buyers actually want, and why most exits fail. I talked to brokers, buyers, PE firms, and what I found was shocking because the gap between what sellers think their business is worth and what buyers will actually pay is massive. So let's get into the real numbers. In 2021, something insane was happening in e-commerce M&A. Amazon aggregators were paying 40 to even 70 times monthly profit for Amazon FBA businesses, not yearly profit, monthly. Let me put that in perspective. If your Amazon brand or your e-commerce brand was doing $10,000 in aggregators were paying you $400,000 up to $700,000 for your business to take it off your hand. That's literally buying your business for 3.3 up to 5 years worth of profit. And that wasn't one crazy buy, that was the entire market. In 2021 alone, over $13 billion flowed into e-commerce aggregators. That's over $1 billion a month. Companies like Thrasio raised $3.4 billion. Thrasio was valued at its peak at $10 billion actually, which is just insane. Perch, another aggregator, raised $908 million. Razor Group raised $1.3 billion. Over 100 aggregator companies operated globally, all competing to buy e-commerce brands. They were literally acquiring 1.5 businesses per week. Thrasio alone bought 125 brands, and the sellers were getting liquidity events, getting big paydays that they never dreamed possible. I knew people selling hobby Amazon business side hustles for $500,000, $1 million in liquid cash, life-changing money. But here's what nobody was asking. Why would anyone pay 40 times monthly profit for a business? Because if you do the maths, at that multiple, it takes you 3.3 years just to get your money back if you're the buyer. And that's assuming the business maintains the exact same profit levels, which almost never happens. The answer is, they thought they could scale these businesses using their operational expertise and economies of scale. They were dead wrong, because by 2022, the entire aggregator model collapsed. Thrasio, the company that raised $3.4 billion and was valued at up to $10 billion, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in February of 2024. They lost over $3 billion in value in under 2 years. The CEO and top executives all left. They went from 180 acquisitions down to almost 50 brands, with most of the portfolio essentially worthless. Perch, Benitago, dozens of others either bankrupt, fire sold to competitors, or desperately trying to survive. Funding to aggregators, well, that collapsed 80% in 2022, from $13 billion in 2021 to just $2.3 billion in 2022. But here's what's important for you as a brand owner. Why did they fail? Because if you understand why they failed, you understand what actually creates value in an e-commerce business. The fact of the matter is, these aggregators, they overpaid massively for these acquisitions. They were paying 5 to 6x SDEs or EBITDA, when actually these brands were worth 2 to 3x. I know this firsthand because some of my students were one of those big acquisitions. Yes, they were happy, but these aggregators, they were the ones holding the bag at the end of this. They thought they had operational expertise, but they were worse at running the businesses than the original sellers. Turns out, combining 100 different brands doesn't create synergies. It creates chaos. They had massive inventory mismanagement, hundreds of millions in losses when demand cooled post-COVID, rising costs crushed them, Amazon fees went up, Meta CPMs just went through the roof, shipping costs exploded, PPC advertising costs increased, interest rates rose, and suddenly these highly leveraged businesses couldn't service their debt. And here's the real lesson: they bought revenue and growth. They didn't buy profitability and defensibility. So let me tell you what e-commerce brands actually sell for in 2025 and beyond. Well, the thing is, the range, the multiples that they sell for can go anywhere from 32x on monthly profit all the way up to about 45x, depending on a wide range of factors that boosts your valuation and multiple. Now, let me show you what separates premium exits from failed ones. Hero Cosmetics, they sold to Church and Dwight for $630 million. Their multiple, 14 times EBITDA. So think about it. Why did they get 14x when most businesses get 2 to 4x if they're lucky? Well, the answer is Hero had 40% EBITDA margins, 40%, not 5%, not 10%, but 40%. They were profitable from day one with less than $50,000 initial investment. Explosive growth, 3,505% growth over 3 years while maintaining those margins. Just think about that for a second. Most businesses that grow fast burn cash. Hero stayed profitable, category leadership. They were the #1 pimple patch brand and the #2 acne brand overall behind Neutrogena. They sold one mighty patch every 2 seconds. Multi-channel presence. Amazon, Target, CVS, 8,000 plus retail doors, not just D2C, not just Amazon, and they had a massive growth runway, meaning they'd only penetrated 8% of their potential distribution at sale. The buyer saw clear expansion opportunities. That is what a premium exit looks like. Now let me show you what a failure looks like. Casper, I'm sure you've heard of them, the bed-in-a-box company. They raised hundreds of millions of dollars, valued at $1.1 billion in 2019, sold for $286 billion in 2021. That's a 74% collapse in value. Why? Persistently unprofitable, losing $92 million or more annually. In fact, if you think about per mattress sold, they were losing $300 for every mattress they sold. It was an unsustainable CAC. Customer acquisition costs were 36.5% of revenue and rising. They needed $156 million in marketing to generate $80 million in revenue growth. Low repeat rate. Mattresses last you 7 to 10 years. You can't build a subscription business on a product people buy once a decade. Think about it. 175 plus competitors in bed-in-a-box. So there was zero differentiation. They ran out of cash and they had to take a fire sale price. The pattern is clear, guys. Profitability beats growth. Defensibility beats scale. Unit economics beat total revenue. Here's what the data actually shows about exit success. Only 20 to 30% of businesses that go to market actually sell. That means 70 to 80% of sellers fail to exit successfully. The median time to exit is 8 to 12 months, not 3 to 5 months. And that's if you sell. It includes 2 to 4 months of preparation, getting your materials together, getting a valuation, engaging advisors and attorney, then 2 to 3 months to find a buyer, then 3 to 4 months after that of due diligence to close. It's a long journey. Only 20% of business owners have a written exit plan, despite the fact that 53% plan to exit within 10 years. That gap is insane. People are planning to sell, but haven't prepared for it. And here's the part that kills me. 35% of business owners don't believe they need exit planning yet. yet, as if one day they'll wake up and the business will magically be acquisition ready. That's a myth. So if you're doing at least $500,000 in annual revenue all the way up to about $5 million, and you're thinking about an exit in the next 2 to 5 years, here's what you need to focus on. Number one, profitability, not growth. Buyers today care about EBITDA and current trading performance. They don't care about your growth projections. Yes, they want to see growth, but they care about the profit as the number one metric they study. If you're doing $2 million in revenue at 5% EBITDA margins, you're worth less than someone doing $1 million at 30% margins. 40% EBITDA margins will get you premium multiples, 15% or below, and you're in the basement. Number two, they're looking for diversified traffic sources. If more than 50% of your revenue comes from a single channel, especially Amazon or Facebook ads, then your valuation gets crushed. Platform dependency is risk, and buyers discount risk heavily. Aim for no more than 30% from any single channel. You want organic, paid, social, email, and even retail if you can manage it, spread across multiple sources. And number three, they want clean, documented operations. Buyers need to believe that the business transfers easily. That means documented SOPs, systems that don't require you as the founder under 20 hours per week of owner involvement. 78% of owners lack a formal transition team. Don't be in that group. And number four, they want strong unit economics. Your LTV to CAC ratio needs to be 3-to-1 minimum. If you're spending $50 to acquire a customer who gives you a lifetime value of $200, that's defensible. But if you're spending $80 to acquire a customer who gives you $90, you're dead in the water. And finally, number five, multi-channel presence, D2C, Amazon, wholesale, retail, not just one. The Hero Cosmetics example wasn't an accident. They had 8,000 retail doors. Strategic buyers want brands that can scale across channels. And lastly, this is the real last one, number six, is real brand equity. Not just Amazon rankings, not just Facebook ads that convert. No, they want loyal customers who love your product and tell their friends about it. A high net promoter score, a high repeat purchase rate, strong reviews, authentic founder story. And finally, number seven, start 2 to 3 years before you want to exit. This isn't a 6-month project. If you want a premium exit, you need time to address weaknesses, build systems, diversify channels, improve margins. The business that get 5x multiples didn't accidentally have great fundamentals. They built for exit years in advance. And here's the final bottom line, guys. Buyers are selective. It's a buyer's market at this moment in time. They have options and they are focused on current performance, not potential. If your business isn't profitable, if it's dependent on a single platform, if it has declining growth, you're not gonna get a premium exit, and you only get to sell your business once. You might as well maximize the amount of cash you get from it. You're only able to sell your business once. You might as well try to maximize the amount of cash you get from your hard-earned work. All right, until next time, take care, peace.